Ever felt that itch for a change? Maybe you want to move to a fancy house or even live a peaceful life in the countryside. Seems like the best way to scratch that itch is to pack up and move, right? But hold up. Sometimes things aren't as rosy as they seem, and you might end up with a ton of regrets. Lucky for you, we're here to save you from making the same mistakes others have made. Welcome to Jet Set Voyager, where today, we'll be showing you the top 10 countries people regret moving to. Start taking notes. Number 10. Canada. Canada is the first stop. It is famous for its stunning natural beauty and hospitable people. But let's face it, living there can hit you right where it hurts. In the wallet. Living in big cities like Toronto and Vancouver can be very expensive. Rent, food, and even a Tim Hortons coffee can drain your bank account pretty quickly. The Canadian dream quickly turns into the Canadian reality when people who move there end up having to work 2 part-time jobs just to keep a roof over their heads and run their kitchen. And then, Canada's progressive tax system means the more you earn, the higher your taxes. These fund public services like healthcare and education. But some people feel they're taxed too much without seeing enough benefits. Canada respects individual rights, but the government is involved, or rather too involved in many areas, from healthcare to education and business. Some prefer less government influence in their daily lives. And don't forget about Canada's harsh winters. Honestly, if you don't like having to bundle up in layers and fight your way through the snow, it can really dampen your experience. Literally, the battle against the elements never ends. Number 9. Japan. Japan is known for sushi, cherry blooms, and state-of-the-art innovation, but it's also known for giving a hard time to newbies in the city. Japan's work culture, particularly in crowded cities like Tokyo, can be genuinely serious. It's like a marathon out there, with extended hours and a never-give-up attitude. Lots of companies have folks working super long hours, often without enough pay or appreciation. This can be really stressful and cause burnout. Even in some cases, loss of life. Even though there are rules to cut down overtime, it's still an issue in many places. For expats, the language barrier can be a huge obstacle, since Japanese is the primary language spoken in day-to-day life and work. It might require some time and effort to adjust and connect with the local community, given Japan's special societal norms and customs. Also, Japan sits on the Pacific Ring of Fire, making it a hotspot for earthquakes, volcanoes, tsunamis, and typhoons. These events can wreak havoc and pose risks to everyone there. If you're not from Japan, navigating disaster protocols might be tough. Number 8. Mexico. Now, we have Mexico, the land of mariachi music, spicy tacos, and stunning beaches. But wait, there's a flip side to this paradise. Safety concerns can be a prevalent issue for expats in Mexico. According to data from 2019, a whopping 70.6% of the crimes reported in Mexico were categorized as violent offenses, compared to only 8.7% in the United States for similar types of crimes. This makes it very unsafe for the ones who shift there. As of 2022, Mexico has a corruption perceptions index of 31 out of 100. A lower score means the more corrupt the nation is, and unfortunately, Mexico is topping the corruption charts. Also, some coastal spots in Mexico can get seriously hot and sticky, particularly in the rainy season. This can create headaches with things like mold, bugs, even your clothes, gadgets, and appliances. Number 7. Belarus. Now, let's head to the mysterious land of Belarus. On human rights, it's been a tough scene in Belarus. Security forces have been coming down hard on protesters, opposition members, journalists, you name it, people who didn't agree with the election results or demanding justice for abuses. They've even gone as far as blocking internet access and hassling independent media outlets. The situation at the border is also a bit dicey. The European Union claims Belarus is purposefully letting thousands of migrants from the Middle East and Asia come to its border with Poland to shake things up in the EU and get back at them for imposing sanctions over human rights issues. The business side of things isn't that rosy either. The economy in Belarus is mostly controlled by the state and has its fair share of issues with law enforcement, property rights, transparency, financial stability, and regulations. The political crisis has cranked up business risks like sanctions, currency falling, inflation, and social unrest. Another potential drawback is the possibility of facing double taxation, which means you may end up paying taxes on your income in both Belarus and your home country. And let's be honest, nobody wants to see a big chunk of their hard-earned money go down the drain. Now, you might be thinking that at least the weather would make it worth it, right? Assuming that would be wrong. Prepare yourself for the long, dull, and cold weather months. If you're not a fan of chilly temperatures, maybe Belarus might not be your cup of tea. Number 6. France. France is a country with a rich cultural heritage and a unique set of social norms and unwritten rules. For expats, understanding and adapting to the French way of doing things can be quite a task. And if you haven't brushed up on your French skills, communication might be a challenge. The City of Lights and home to the infamous Eiffel Tower, Paris may not always live up to its romanticized image. You might find it less well-maintained than expected, with graffiti adorning the walls and litter scattered about. Climate change is really shaking things up in France. Extreme weather events like heat waves, floods, and droughts are messing with agriculture, tourism, health, and infrastructure. France is all in on cutting greenhouse gas emissions and boosting renewable energy. But it's not without economic and social challenges. And let's not forget the cost of living. France has one of Europe's highest tax burdens, making it tough for many to get by, particularly in rural areas and small towns. Just look at what happened in 2018-19 when a proposed fuel tax hike sparked massive protests from the Yellow Vests, calling for more social justice, lower taxes, and increased democracy. Number 5. China. It can be hard to move to China, especially if you don't know the language or how the culture works. Day-to-day tasks, such as ordering at a restaurant or communicating with your local co-workers, can be really difficult, as only 6% of the Chinese population knows English. On top of that, there are other reasons why China might be a challenging place to relocate to. First of all, there are limitations on web access and media control. That's right, you've probably heard of the Great Firewall of China. It limits access to numerous foreign sites and platforms, making it very testing to remain connected with the worldwide online community. And we shouldn't forget the environmental concerns. China, with its vibrant urban areas, faces challenges with air and water contamination. These issues, particularly in densely populated cities like Shanghai and Beijing, can have an impact on well-being and overall prosperity. It's important to stay informed and take necessary precautions while exploring this bustling country. Number 4. United Kingdom. Let's travel across the ocean to the United Kingdom, or Old Blighty, as some people like to call it. The UK is renowned for its rich history, notorious tourist spots, and obviously tea. However, not everything is sunshine and kettle pots. Work-life balance is often criticized by expats, saying that it's usually all work and no play. Many people working in the UK work around 60 to 70 hours per week just to stay in competition with everyone else. And we should not disregard the cost of most everyday items, particularly in rich urban cities like London. Rent costs can make your eyes water, and a pint at a neighborhood bar could deplete your wallet. Even though the Public Health Administration, the NHS of the UK, is well known for its free health services, going to the doctor is a total field day. That is, only if you are lucky enough to get an appointment. And did we mention the weather? Dim skies, drizzles, and cold temperatures appear to be the standard. The UK can often go days without the sun showing itself, which causes people to often yearn for a few days of sunlight and vitamin D. Number 3. The United States of America. From the glitz and glamour of Hollywood to the bustling streets of New York City, the US offers a wide range of experiences. One major concern that crops up is the high crime rate in certain areas. You know, those places that make you double-check your locks at night. In 2020, the USA had a crime rate of 6.52%, which is quite high compared to many other countries. Cities like Memphis and Detroit have earned a bit of a reputation in this department, and it's no surprise that feeling safe becomes a real challenge. But that's not all. Discrimination is another bitter pill that some expats have to swallow. Unfortunately, it's not uncommon to encounter instances of prejudice and racism in different parts of the country. Another major drawback is the medical facilities in the US. Medical bills can be scarier than a horror movie. It's a harsh reality that many expats have to face, and it's definitely something to consider before moving to the US. Number 2. Brazil. This lovely South American country is known for its rich culture and friendly local people, making it an attractive destination for many individuals across the world. But due to the security concerns, many people end up regretting moving to Brazil. You must be extremely careful, as Brazil is known for a generally high level of crime. Pickpocketing and petty theft are normal, particularly in packed tourist regions like Rio de Janeiro and crowded public transportation. Another disadvantage of moving to Brazil is the pollution. As Brazil experiences rapid growth and urbanization, it comes with some environmental consequences. In terms of air quality, Brazil falls into the moderate pollution category. It basically means that while the air quality isn't terribly harmful, it can still be a concern for people sensitive to pollutants or those with respiratory issues. Number 1. Vietnam. Last but not least, let's explore the vibrant country of Vietnam. Scams targeting immigrants and inflated prices compared to locals can leave you feeling a bit cheated. Crossing roads can be a nerve-wracking experience due to the chaotic traffic, and encounters with pickpockets are not uncommon. Plus, if you're a stickler for food hygiene and safety, be prepared for some adjustments, as they don't exactly abide by the rules when it comes to clean and hygienic food. According to the World Health Organization, a whopping 4,012,038 cases of foodborne diseases were reported, with 123 unfortunate fatalities between 2011 and 2016. That's a lot of upset stomachs and serious health risks. This just goes to show that you have to be very careful when choosing where and what to eat in Vietnam. That was quite the journey through the countries that people often regret moving to. Remember, these experiences vary from person to person. What might be a challenge for one person could be an exciting adventure for another. So, before packing your bags and hopping on that plane, take the time to research and weigh the pros and cons. After all, finding a place to call home is about finding your own slice of happiness in this vast world.